Welcome, everyone, to this edition of Stone Sundays, part of the Hoop Social Podcast Network. I'm your host for today, Trey Hill, joined by co-host, Renowned Kings author, and now officially a Summer League veteran, Jason Coldiron. So, really, to lead off today, I wanted to get your thoughts on Summer League. I know you went to the Sacramento version, and the Vegas one. You know, it's happening right now, and it's nothing but parties. You see it all over social media. It's just this. It went from this little tiny thing to now it's a big party in Vegas. All the teams are invited. Is Sacramento anything like that yet?
In a word, no. It's not. Riveting segment. Let's move on. No, it is not like that at all. However, it is a lot of fun. If you go in with the right mindset and everything, it's a lot of fun. If you're expecting the top level of basketball and a big party and celebrities everywhere, you're not going to get that in Sacramento. The closest thing to celebrities that I'm aware of, there was a couple league executives there, not Adam Silver. There were some higher ups from a couple of teams, like from Miami, had some of their people there, and there were a couple of like local celebrities. And a couple of Kings players showed up, but there was nobody like courtside where I was like, oh my God, they're here. It was like, oh, cool. Davian Mitchell from the main team is here to hang out. Oh, cool. Malik Monk's here kicking it. That's rad. Oh, whoever. But there is definitely.
I heard one podcast describe it as 90% people who work for the league in some capacity.
If that's true, I have no idea what league execs look like. If they're dressed like everybody else and fans, then sure. But I
think most of them generally are. They blend in pretty well with the crew. So for me, honestly, I'm not a big people person. So Vegas, it's too much for me now. Like I've heard people talking about going to Vegas. I don't think I would enjoy it. It would be too much for me. But Sacramento, it sounds like it's just the right speed for me for a summer league to get the season started. So maybe one of these years, I'm just going to have to come out and visit, and we'll have to go to the Sacramento Summer League because I hope they continue to have them and they don't just force them all. I don't think they will, considering they haven't yet. But
yeah, so the California Classic, this is, I think, the fourth year, and I think we skipped last year and maybe the year before because it went to the Bay Area. But prior to that, it was in Sacramento, and they say it's back in Sacramento for good. And I'd been 2 of the previous years, and I went this year. I had pretty good seats. I know you saw. I can't show the picture here, but I generally enjoyed it. So the first day, as you know, I walked over from work and it was like almost 100 degrees and about a mile each way. And it seemed like a great idea being green and all that, but it wasn't a great idea. And also the entire time I was there, I knew that after I was done, I was going to have to walk a mile back to my car as well. So that kind of put a hamper on the whole day. That said, it was like 100 degrees outside. And the 2 seats that I had, I don't know if it was the only one, but I literally had the air conditioning vent right under my 2 seats. So it's 100 degrees outside, and I'm sitting there in my seat shivering for like 5 hours. It was so cold. I swear that they were trying to cool the entire arena from the 2 seats underneath my ass. It was so cold. It was fucking freezing. I was shivering for most of the time.
That's like the worst experience you can have then because it's so hot. So you dress super light.
Right.
And then when you get there, you're in all this light clothing and boom, they're just blowing the AC right on you.
I swear.
On the on-court action then, what did you notice? Did anything catch your eye? Is there any big memory that you have?
Yeah. So the biggest thing here is Charlotte might be in big trouble here. I don't want to put too much weight on 2 Summer League games, but Brandon Miller, oh boy. Based on what we saw there, this is Summer League. This guy's trying to make the NBA, and he not only did he not look like one of the best players on the court, he looked like one of the worst players on the court, and that's not good because they just took him ahead of Scoot Henderson, who's probably going to be a multi-time All-Star, and he did so bad that it had me asking people around and making jokes like, what would Charlotte have to include with Brandon Miller for Portland to give them Scoot now? Those are the kind of questions I'm already asking.
Do you think part of that is Brandon Miller? Charlotte's summer league team, it looks like it might be one of the least talented teams they've ever had on a summer league roster. Um, he's being expected to be the number one guy, the number one option. There's no other playmakers. I feel like it's him in a role that he's not going to play in the NBA. When he's playing beside LaMelo Ball and that the playmaking that he brings with that, and other shooters and just guys that can space the floor, I think he's going to do a lot better. But it really exposed the idea that he's not going to be the type of guy who can be a 1A, carry a team to a title, which I don't think that would have been a fair expectation for him anyway.
For sure. He absolutely looks like the guy that when you go to your 24-hour fitness for the pickup game, you see this guy and he looks like an athlete and you go, damn, that guy must be awesome. And then the games start and you realize he's not very good. That's what it was like. He like before they start playing, if you asked any person just looking at the players, which one would you guess is the best player on the court? You would say him. He looks the part, but boy, oh boy, he did not do anything on the court. And the first game, I think he had 6 fouls, and the second game he had 8. They give you 10 in summer league, and he had 8 fouls, which by the way was more than the amount of points he scored. That's not good.
I know you weren't there for the Wemby debut, but number 1 and number 2, they both seem to have pretty lackluster opening games. Whose do you think was worse?
Well, full disclosure, I didn't watch the Wemby game. I just watched highlights, and from what I saw, he actually had moments where he looked like you could say, yeah, that this guy could be a future NBA player or a future star, at least. He obviously had plenty of lows too, but at least he had moments where he looked good. I didn't see a single moment from Brandon Miller like, oh, okay, all right, we can calm down. This is cool. You see it now. Okay, he's going to be okay. He's just got to work out. I didn't see anything like that. So that's fucking concerning.
I was going to side with Brandon Miller also. I thought he had the worst first game. I liked what he did in the next game after. I thought he showed a lot more. And it's a lot of the adjustment periods. It's going to be difficult for guys that small. And he is so skinny. But so is Victor. And again, I think Victor will play a lot better when he's surrounded by better talent. Again, these are guys trying to make the league. They're not running the same plays. They're not having practices and being able to focus on things. And it's so hard for big guys to thrive, I think, in summer league because the best point guards aren't playing. And while they were both disappointing, in general, I've just been kind of blah with summer league. Again, how much do you get out of summer league? Because I'm always the downer with it. I don't watch it. I don't pay any attention to it. What value do you get out of it?
I definitely get some value, but it's important to keep realistic expectations. As I always say, sometimes you definitely see things that turn out to be true, but because it's summer league, you can't say for sure. But I'll give you an old example. Back in 2003 or approximately, I forget when Amari Stoudemire came into the league, but he came straight out of high school, and I saw him in his first summer league game, and I said, holy shit, this guy looks like a 30-year-old playing with toddlers. And sure enough, that's pretty much what he looked like when he started playing in the real games too. So that was one example where it definitely holds up. But there's probably a million other examples where guys score 30 points in summer league and never touch 5 points in an NBA game. So definitely gotta kind of discern through the crystal ball and kind of see. But there's definitely some stuff you can pick up. I would say in instant reaction I've got or unfortunately another one for the Hornets. They're at the top of the second round. They took James Nagy, who I actually wanted the Kings to take at number 24. And I hate to say this, but based on just watching him in one summer league game, he's not an NBA player. And he's not.
Or he asked if I'm going to have more enthusiasm for the in-season tournament. Of
So,
course I am, because it's the actual NBA players playing in games that matter. So, yes, I am going to care more about that than this. For me, I guess the thing you can get from it, like you said, if a guy shines, he just comes out and shows out. We saw J-Dub do it for the Thunder. Your Keegan Murray for the Kings.
I was about to say,
came out and had 40 plus.
You can say for sure, Keegan Murray, for you fantasy draft players, bump him up a round or two. That dude's coming out.
Sadly for me, Dalen Terry only looks average, and you'd like for him to show a little bit more. Ori also asked, is Scoot the next Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum equals elite pick number 3? Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to be a star. I think we're going to look back at that pick and be like, any other draft, he would have been the number 1 pick. I know we said that, before with Victor, but I think we're going to look at Scoot in 10 years and think, wow, it is crazy that he wasn't a number 1 draft pick in his draft. Not to say he's going to be better than Wemby, but just because he was such a good talent, that kind of like how Michael Jordan, it's crazy he went number 3 also. There's another number 3 for you. But nobody really says Olajuwon shouldn't have went 1.
Right. Yeah, I like Scoot a lot. I see him having a career, or at least a style of play that's probably going to be similar to Russ, which means he's not perfect at all, but he's still pretty freaking good, and you still definitely want him. Yeah. You're muted.
Good call. I do that once a show. It happens every single time. It's just part of it at this point. We just kind of have to accept it.
So high right now.
That's me. But so let's just jump to the NBA Cup. It got announced today. The groups were announced. They're going to have the games on Tuesdays and Fridays. I think it said in November. And then in the middle of December, they have the single elimination tournament, which is the part I'm looking forward to, between the top 4 teams from each side. And then they have the championship game in Vegas. That game is the only one that won't be a regular season game. So all of the games up to that point will count towards the standings. The stats will count. All of that matters. But so that's been announced. There's been a lot of negativity about it. And I seem to be in the minority in that I'm really excited for a single elimination tournament with NBA guys. How are you feeling about it, Coldiron?
Valiant effort, decent idea, but this is going to go really bad. Here's how I see this going.
So why is it going to go bad?
I think despite the best efforts of everyone involved, and I think it comes from a good place, but at the end of the day, I don't see NBA teams taking this seriously at all. I still absolutely see teams load managing even during these tournament games, and therefore fans then think it's a joke as well, and nobody cares. I hope I'm wrong, but I know there's money involved for the players, but it's also not really up to them. It's up to the management and the coaches. And I just see rooms full of team executives.
Say a team has a game like a Monday, Tuesday back-to-back, and you don't think teams will just rest Monday instead of Tuesday to appease the league?
I don't believe this is going to affect their mindset at all. I think they've
so
got
I think you might be right.
They're still going to do it, and
I think you're probably right for that, especially the first year.
Yeah.
But I think once the middle of December gets here, and say you've got the Kings and the Warriors in a single elimination game, and De'Aaron Fox drives by Steph Curry and lays it up to win by 1 point as time expires, and he gets to do the Dame Lillard bye-bye to Steph Curry. I think that's going to matter. I think people are going to want to tune in for single elimination games. And for me, that's the real appeal for me. They aren't adding any games to the regular season except for the one. And if during the regular season, if you get a chance to have a weekend in Vegas, I think that's pretty appealing for NBA teams. Like, players would love the idea to get this weekend away in Vegas. That's a great little mini vacation. So along with the money, they get that. I do think you might see guys not take it serious, but I had the groups up and then I changed tabs. But like for me, it's I've got the Celtics, the Raptors, the Nets, and the Magic and the Bulls. So the Bulls, they're not going to contend next year. I'm not delusional, but they have a good chance to, if they can beat the Celtics in the one game, which they've played the Celtics well before, they could find their way into this single elimination tournament. And that would give me something to look forward to this year.
Yeah, I could see that.
But really, it's the single elimination tournament, I think, is what's going to make what fans will like. When, just like we love I don't watch college basketball, love March Madness.
So I think I agree with you about the final game in Vegas, and I think teams would take that seriously once they get there, but I still absolutely see them load managing up to that point and not caring. And I'd like to address a more systemic issue with this. The whole reason this is happening is because the NBA is grasping at straws desperately to try to make the regular season matter. And this tournament is an attempt in that vein. But I think I think this is a band-aid on a severed head. This doesn't solve the problem. The regular season is still a joke, and teams are still only using the regular season as a means to get ready for the playoffs, and this isn't going to change that. The NBA is trying to make the regular season matter desperately, and that's what this is, and it's not going to work.
Oh, see, I think this is more for fans than players. I think the play-in tournament was the way that they were trying to get teams to take the regular season more seriously, because you want to be in a top 6 spot. You don't want to be that 7-8 seed. For me, I think this is more for the fans, because again, it's players show up and they play regular season games. It's the dregs of the regular season, but it gives fans a reason to watch. If they get, like, honestly, if you say they won't care until Vegas shows up, if the 76ers and the Celtics have a single elimination game and Embiid doesn't play in it, he is going to get killed on the internet. He's going to get roasted everywhere. People will be held accountable if they don't play in the elimination games, I think, because why wouldn't they be? Like, it will definitely look like they are ducking the challenge, because we all did that with Embiid last year when he didn't play against Jokic late in the year. For me, I think you're underestimating how competitive NBA players are. And honestly, if I'm rooting for a team and my guys don't want to go out there and try and win this, that's a red flag for me. If you don't care about winning, then what the fuck are you playing? Like, what the fuck do I want you on my team for?
I absolutely agree with what you're saying, and I still think teams will load manage it.
Well, that's fair. I really hope you're wrong. And
Me too.
Honestly, this is Adam Silver's baby. If a team load manages this, I think he is going to come in with a fucking vengeance. I think if Popovich is the guy, he loves to thumb his nose at things. I think if Popovich purposely rests his guys to avoid playing in these games, he's going to get, like, he might even find a way to take second round draft picks from them. I think he's going to take this that seriously. So, okay, assuming players get competitive. So let's say 10 years down the line, and sure, some, the bottom teams, they might rest a little bit, but the guys play and they take it they take it serious enough. Do you think will you watch? Will you enjoy will you watch the single elimination games if they're good matchups? Will that add any appeal for you?
For me personally, all of this won't affect my watching habits at all, except for possibly the final game in Vegas, as you said. I might go out of my way to watch that, but for the rest of it, I'll still watch every Kings game, because that's what I do, and I'll still watch as many primetime games as I'm able to in my schedule. For me personally, this tournament will not make me go out of my way for any of it.
With me, I think I will go out of my way if the matchups are going to be entertaining. But again, I would probably go out of my way to watch those anyway. So I don't know how much it's going. I don't know how much it's going to motivate me extra to watch, but I'm going to enjoy the moments when they happen. And I think that, like, that's really what it is for me. I love the elimination idea of it. That really that's what it is. A little bit of March Madness in the NBA world for me, and that's all I want, is just a little bit. I wanted them to do the Elam ending for the whole tournament, but since the regular season counts for these games, I understand why they're not. For me, I almost wish they'd do the Elam ending for the Vegas game, for the championship game, just to make it a little bit different, a little unique. But again, that's another thing. I think it's a boom. Coldiron thinks it's a bust. So at least we now are on the record on how we feel. I don't have a devil's advocate, but I can make one up. Do you have one for this week?
Nah, go ahead. Sounds like you're.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I am live on the spot. My devil's advocate.
You just said you had.
Oh no, I don't have one, but okay, I've got it. I've been watching a lot of WNBA this year, and there's this girl,
Oh,
lady.
on the headline we've got last week's up.
I know. I'm getting ready to change it right now, and it's not wanting to work for me. But I didn't want to change it until I knew.
For sure.
Here we go. So Alyssa Thomas, she plays for the Connecticut Sun, and she is everything that Ben Simmons should have been. She doesn't really shoot because she has 2 torn labrums, I'm pretty sure is what it is. So she shoots her free throws one-handed. When you see her, it's nothing but push shots, but she runs the floor, she rebounds, she passes. She's the one who's been in the headlines for getting all the triple doubles. I think she has as many I think she has 6 or 7, and the next person has 3. She's just completely dominating on both ends. And when I watch her play, it's literally everything we wanted Ben Simmons to be. So anyone who is looking for some actual competitive basketball, don't watch the Summer League. Go watch the Connecticut Sun and watch Alyssa Thomas and just picture, man, I wish Ben Simmons could play like her because she is fantastic. She does all of the little things. And for me, I think if I had to pick one person, man or woman on the entire planet, I think I love her game the most because she's just so good at understanding how to play basketball the right way and is fantastic. So there's my devil's advocate. So anything else before we head out, sir? Your strain of the week, you got anything special?
I do. So this is kind of a funny situation. I've actually, except for at the beginning of this pod where you saw me hitting a couple times, I've actually been trying to give my lungs a little bit of a break. I've got a little bit of sore lungs going on because, let's face it, I vape a lot, and I have for a long time. So I was trying to give my lungs a little bit of a break. So we switched over to edibles a little bit this week. And so strain of the week is from Camino Sours, their brand called Balance. Am I frozen? Oh.
No, but it's gonna. Oh, there we go. We got it. We got it for a split second. I thought you said chocolates at first.
Oh, sorry. So,
I bet those aren't gonna melt. Chocolate would be horrible to eat in 100 degrees.
Yeah. So Camino Sours. Oh, sorry. Orchard Peach is the strain, and this is a definite thumbs up. This is definitely a PM one though. Definitely will get you a little groggy, and it's really great. Like, say, in a week when you've got neighbors who came back from Nevada with a U-Haul truck full of illegal fireworks, and every night we're up super late blowing them off till midnight. Literally, there's a U-Haul truck across the street. They came back from Nevada with a truck full of illegal fireworks, and they've just been having fun all fucking week. So this week's recommendation is Camino Sours Orchard Peach, good for helping you sleep through neighbors popping off illegal fireworks.
Well, that's about as good of a plug as you can get, really.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to plug Threads. Facebook,
you're on
answer
there.
to Twitter. Follow me at Finally. Are you on there, Coldiron?
I'm told I have to make an Instagram to do that. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't have Instagram, so for the time being, I'm not going to do this, and maybe I'll wait and see how it goes for a few months before I try it.
Well, they've got to be at 100 million signed up by now because they hit 90 million yesterday. So I'm hoping it continues to go strong because I've been off of Twitter since the start of the year. So it was a long 7 months without access to some of NBA Twitter, but a lot of them have moved over. Adam Taylor and Mark Schindler, there's my 2 shout outs for the day. But yeah, follow me on Threads at Finally. What do you got to plug, Coldiron?
Hoop Social, man.
That works. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening and have a good one.